What's up, guys? It's Flips for Miles. Welcome back to another video. Today, I have my man Warner here. Warner actually is a full-time Amazon seller like myself, made over 100K profit during college last year. And just one side announcement, the course Warner and I made, the FBA roadmap, is actually live now, the time you're seeing this video. And
Yep.
it's Friday the 11th right now. And on Tuesday, the early bird price will go ahead and increase. So if you're interested in taking advantage of that, I'd highly recommend it. It's linked in the description and the pinned comment. But Warner, thanks for being with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's
Cool.
it's been nice to put out that content. I'm excited for what we got in there.
Oh, I'm very excited as well. Luckily, we got a lot of people taking advantage and all that. But walk me through your current business model that you have going on. We have very similar models, but we sell different types of products, but we'll get into all that. So what are you currently up to?
Yeah, so I do online arbitrage with a little bit of wholesale, pretty like you said, pretty similar to what you're doing. But I try to do it pretty much as much on autopilot as I possibly can. Gives me time to focus on other things, and eventually not work. But for now, it just goes into other projects. And specifically my role in the company now, I essentially just swipe a credit card. So this is obviously like a long-term scaling. A lot of you guys are probably beginners. Once you actually learn each step of the process, you're going to be able to outsource that. And it's actually to the point in my business where I've been able to outsource prep, finding the items, like this shipping to the customer. That's FBA. You guys have that outsourced right off the bat. But basically all I do is receive lists of profitable products from my virtual assistants. They work overnight. They're in the Philippines. Then when I wake up in the morning, I've got essentially a personal leads list. I go ahead and swipe my credit card on some of those items, and then that's pretty much the Amazon business for the day. Maybe some repricing, a little bit like that. But yeah, at scale, it's really nice. It's really smooth.
Yeah, and absolutely. But that's obviously not how you started. And we started in similar ways as college kids flipping textbooks. So tell me about how you got started, and then we'll go into that transition that we both were able to luckily successfully make.
Yeah. So we both sold books for a long time. I got stuck on the book grind for a lot longer than you did. I did books for I think it was right around 2 years. I was trying to trace it back the other day. But I started out literally I got a scanner. I got the yo-yo scanner. I got Scout IQ. I went out to the thrift stores like 2 or 3 times a week. I was putting in some serious hours going out to scan books after class. That was just kind of the hobby that I did. I was able to make, 30, 35 grand a year in profit doing that. But I soon realized that, as I was, continuing to scale, I was figuring out some ways to make some extra money with books. One of my favorite strategies of which is in the course. I'm excited to kind of talk about that with some guys. But I was able to kind of realize, I've got some money sitting around. I need to be able to spend this on inventory faster. That's probably where a lot of you guys are at in your business. You're doing retail arbitrage, you're doing books, you're doing pretty well, but now it's time to scale. So that's where I started implementing. I actually started implementing wholesale, and then I kind of did online arbitrage probably a month after that, just to implement some lower hanging fruit with online arbitrage while I was building up that wholesale side of the business. And it just kind of naturally led to really enjoying online arbitrage and ending up where I am now.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot to take away from that, but it's really hard to go from books to OA because it's a different thing. And I think OA is the perfect like hybrid between like wholesale and that you can buy a lot with OA if you do it right, but at the same time you're not, super committed and it can be what you need it to be. It can be a nice lifestyle business if you want it to be that way. And like obviously we run into a lot of people who are beginners, and what we talk about a lot in the course is actually going ahead and making that shift and really starting to make serious money. Like you did about 20K profit in December on the Amazon
Yeah.
front.
Yeah. Well, during final season, so like
Yeah,
it's
true, man. Graduated college
yeah,
and made
yeah.
20 bands on Amazon in the same month, which is very impressive. And it shows that you guys can do it too if you're watching. But what tools and such are you using to consistently find profitable leads OA wise? Because that's the number one question we get when we talk about people who want to do it.
Yeah, I've got a pretty decent suite of tools. I've got BrickSeek, I've got Tactical Expander, Tactical Arbitrage, Keepa, SellerAmp, but those are definitely not essential. Those are kind of some more advanced strategies that I like to leverage. But if you're that person who's trying to find your first couple products, you just get a Keepa subscription and a SellerAmp subscription and just start diving into those other storefronts. Because you can invest in all these expensive tools to find these amazing leads, or you can just put in some extra grunt work and dig in through other sellers' actual storefronts. And those in a way are like leads lists, right? Like they wouldn't be selling them if it wasn't profitable at some point. A lot of those products, maybe they're buying at a wholesale pricing, anything. You're not going to be able to kind of reverse trace it. That's fine. But for the most part, these sellers are not selling this stuff just for fun, right? Like they're making money off of it. So you can kind of, shortcut a lot of that harder work. Just leverage two very cheap tools. Those tools will run you less than 40 US every month. So like definitely just dive into some storefronts. That's going to be a great way to start.
Yeah.
But once you want to scale, you can look at things like tactical arbitrage, expander, all that.
Yeah, and what's interesting is right now I use pretty much just Keepa to source a lot of my stuff. And I like we both made live sourcing videos for Inside the Roadmap, and those I think are the most valuable stuff, like being able to look over our shoulder and see our thought process on different stuff. But I'm totally not opposed to using tools up front, especially for our viewers who have the capital to go ahead and invest in stuff. So I know like a lot of the VA workflow is a lot of seller amp and tactical arbitrage, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're just getting started out, if you've got significant capital, it's definitely worth doing those.
And that's the thing, because when I was getting in, so you guys, some of you know my story. I did books for like a year and a half, and in like the last year of that, I wasn't super focused on it with the pandemic and everything. But eventually, I learned how to get ungated, which luckily I actually found your videos back in the day through I think looking for ungating methods and everything. But now that information's out there, and you guys can really take advantage of it and really get into it. And it's a lot easier. I tweeted this the other day. I think it's a lot easier now, like with the resources, all the content out there to get started than it was a few years ago, because the community's grown so much stronger. It's just, will you actually go ahead and take advantage of that?
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Like I remember when I was starting in late 2018, there was like, you were not figuring out how to get ungated for free. That stuff was locked behind, it was very tightly locked up.
I just don't think the methods even existed back then, or no, clearly no one was talking about it regardless.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's been nice to, I think we've had a nice role to play in that and building that community, helping people out. It's been a blast to see that happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's very rewarding getting the messages from different people and stuff. Cause at the same time, like we've grown with everyone else, you know what I mean? Like a year ago, like I'd never done over 10K in sales in a month. And then December I did 300, like a year. So like as of a year ago, what had been your highest sales month compared to your highest sales month now?
So a year ago it probably would have been like I remember doing 25K
in season. You thought you were eating
in January. Yeah. So like 13 months ago I did 25K and I was like, whoa, this is some serious money. Which it's nothing to scoff at, but it's like sky's the limit on Amazon, right? So like you just keep pouring in time. And I think you hit on something kind of valuable there as well. Like when we started interacting with each other and interacting with the community is when we saw all that growth, which is why we've worked so hard to build those communities, help you guys out. But like specifically, if you want to like develop connections, find some people you like, whether that's in our free Discord or any other group, right? And just send them a lead. Like that's what I would like. If you want to make a friend, send them a lead, and then you'll probably have a business connection. Like just ask them what they're doing, tell them what you're doing, like offer value, and then it's probably going to come back to you. Start building out that network, and that's what's really allowed my business to scale. I'm sure that I think you would attribute most of your growth to that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely just like making friends, because it's impossible in real life to find people to talk with about this stuff. Luckily, now with technology, we're able to do all that stuff virtually and build out some really cool things. But I'd highly recommend, just getting in the community, trying to be able to talk to as many sellers as possible. There's tons of different resources to do that. If you want the step-by-step, we have the roadmap available now, but either way, like there's lots of good content out there and we're happy to help with that. But this guy's a great example of that, because you went from that 25K in revenue was probably like $6,000 profit, something like that.
Yeah, 6, 7. Like, it was a lot of books.
That's good. A lot of books, that's good money, man. Seriously. And obviously now you're able to do much more than that, but also working less too, because you're sourcing OA instead of books. So a lot less legwork and everything like that. But yeah, for those looking to get started, what would be your biggest piece of advice outside of get in the community, which would probably be my biggest piece of advice? But what are the action plans someone should take if they want to get started?
Yeah. So, plug into a community, watch some YouTube videos for a week, but don't get stuck in that for too long. Once you've kind of got a baseline of the business, the absolute best way to learn is to just get started, right? So set up that Amazon seller account, once you've got that set up, get a Keepa subscription, or if you really want to be an action taker, set it up while you're waiting on Amazon, get a Keepa subscription, dive in, find your first couple products. Like if you want to really get after it, you absolutely can. But seller account, Keepa, dive into some storefronts, see what other people are selling, see what categories you might need to get ungated in. I'd recommend starting out grocery, health and beauty, and health and household. That'll give you a big range of products with not a lot of like exclusive brands. And then from there, you'll really be able to start out and crush it and kind of figure out what you really like to do from there.
All right, fantastic. Well, thanks for chopping up with me for a little bit. Thanks to you guys for watching. Make sure if you guys want, the price goes up on Tuesday, which I think is the 15th. It goes up by $70. So go take advantage of the roadmap. That's something you guys are interested in. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.